Welcome back to Get Gaming, the channel by two gamers with a Y for
gamers with or without a Y.
That's exactly right. We're looking at you, ladies. So today we have a very special challenge video for you. M is for Meeple, the lovely Mitch, and the lovely Morgan. They're both equally lovely. They did a one-handed challenge video. Actually, I think it was started, Boardgame Dave did this challenge as well, and I think somebody else started it. If I find out who it was, I'll drop it down in the description. The idea is that you're going to cover however many games you can hold in one hand, like so. But we decided because this is a one-handed challenge, you should have to hold up the games while you are talking about them. So the way we're going to do this challenge is we each have an amount of games that we've fit into one hand, a minimum of 4. I think we each have 8. I think I have 9 and you have 8. So we have to hold them the entire time. Now here's the twist we decided to add. You have to reach over to your partner, cross-handed, and pick it up off, and they have to not drop it. So the winner of the challenge is the one that makes it to the end without dropping anything. But if the other person grabbing it drops something from your pile, that doesn't count. That's on them. Okay, but you also have to keep it stable.
All right, since you have more, do you want me to reach over first?
No, I'm going to start. That's more challenging.
The first thing we're going to talk about,
Almost like Jenga, is Skulls of Sedlec by Button Shy Games, designed by Dustin Dobson. This is a lovely little tableau building game where you're building a pyramid of skulls. So this is a very good tableau building game. Works well at 2, works well at 4, and if you have the expansions, you can play it up to 6, but it's really a table hog, so I'm not sure I would suggest that exactly. But I have all the expansions in one wallet, and then I also have the solo expansions in the with the base game in the other wallet. So I have every bit of content for this game other than the, there's some holiday mini expansions for like Christmas and Halloween that you can get.
Oh, that sounds fun.
But I like it solo, so I'm keeping it as a solo game mostly. And so I play with you every now and again. So that was the first one. So now you got...
Right, and this is Koi Koi.
That's published by Nintendo, the original Mac Daddy.
Yeah.
Of Handheld decks.
We haven't played it in some time.
It's been a hot minute. Right, I think it's been at least a month or so.
Yeah.
We used to play it all the time. You know, it'll come back.
It's a great game. I love the size of these things too. I like actually I bought a Hanafuda deck that was the Hawaiian. Is a little
I thought the art was very pretty in the Hawaiian Hanafuda.
But
the rules are slightly different in
I still like this better.
Japanese.
Yeah, because I like the size.
They're little tiles, practically.
They're cute. They're just fun. It's fun to collect and make it.
I think
it is very satisfying. It's a real satisfying game to play. Because it makes you feel like, ooh, I got something. You don't always get the same things. You might, you might get it a different way.
I mean, there's 12 different flower suits in the deck, so even though you're seeing the same things all the time, it's one of those games, because it's a traditional game, you get to really, like, know it inside and out, to the point where you've memorized every single card and memorized every single combo you can make, and that's a big part of the strategy in the game, is having that kind of knowledge. And so it's a game... like many traditional games like backgammon or Go or something like that, it's really one of those games that takes a lifetime to become truly a master.
The one thing I'll say also is, like, if you have 2 people that know the game well, like we do, it's really easy to teach to a third person, as long as not everybody. I mean, you have to at least have some experts on the game. But,
I feel like we played it. Didn't we teach it to Jamila? And she was picking up the combos pretty easily.
It's not that hard once you kind of get the hang of it.
It's just a little overwhelming at first because there's 12 different suits instead of 4, like a Western deck.
And some of them look a little too much alike too.
And not every suit looks exactly the same. Like, there's some cards that don't have the flower on them, like in the Rainstorm, and is part of the Willow deck, and you just kind of have to know that.
Right.
You know, so that can be a little bit of barrier to entry, but I don't think it's really, like, difficult to teach.
I think it's great. Everybody should have
I agree. It's amazing. Okay, and next up...
Rich's pile
Of course, Tussie Mussie, the best game ever. Talk about flowers. Clearly, we like flower and pastoral games. I told Morgan that all our games would have a strongly pastoral theme to them. And maybe
pretty much.
I think we're going to deliver either flowers, animals, or food. I think it was the most common.
I mean,
I can't fix it with the other hand. I catched it with my boot.
Right.
Does it count? No, you can't fix it. You can't fix it. No.
Okay.
That's against the rules. Tussie Mussie. I saved it with my boobs, so it's not quite a disaster yet. But I can't use my other hand to fix it because it's one-handed. To pretend like I don't have another hand.
See, I've got a good hold on this. That's why I picked.
Oh my god!
I think strategy.
I'm regretting this. I'm regretting this so much.
It's ramen.
Okay, and I have to.
No. You're gonna go. I go.
Oh,
next.
you go next.
So I'll help you out with that. Bagh Chal, which I've only played a couple times with you.
A Nepalese game. So it's a Swedish couple that decided, I guess they liked traveling to Kathmandu, and they discovered some old guys playing this game, and they're like, the kids don't like to play this game because it's not cool. They're trying to revive it, and part of the Kickstarter that they did for this, it was pay what you want. Every copy that somebody backed, they gave a copy to a school in Nepal so that, they could teach the Nepalese children this traditional game.
We haven't completely cracked the strategy on this game because I think every time the tiger has won.
So it's an asymmetric game, kind of similar to checkers. So one of you has 4 tiger tokens that start at the outside, and the other person has, I believe it's 15 goat tokens that you're supposed to place in the first half of the game.
But one by one.
Yeah, and you can't move them. Whereas the other player can move the tigers around, and if they jump over one of the goats to an empty space on the other side, they capture the goat. And once they've captured 5 goats, they win. But if the goats manage to trap the tigers by surrounding them so that they can't move in the corners, then the goats win. And so the first time we played, it was like, oh my god, the goats totally have an advantage.
But it's very hard to do because you kind of have to build. I think maybe part of it is you have to kind of build out from the center because the tigers are in the corners. But if you try to surround them too quickly, they'll just jump over you unless there's something. Yeah. There has to be something where they can't jump over.
Yeah, I found it was if you're playing as the goats, it's a good strategy to cluster them in the bottom half so that the tigers have nowhere to go and they can't eat them. So that when it gets to the second half and you can start moving the goats, then the tigers really have nowhere to go. But then when you played as the tigers, or I think when you played as the tigers, you won. Because you were able to eat my goats pretty quickly.
I think the tigers have only won. I don't think we've ever, either you or me playing as the goat has won.
Really?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
That's interesting.
So that's why I still want to play this some more because
I think it has a lot of depth of strategy to it, actually.
I do too.
But I feel like once you've cracked the code, it's kind of like, it's going to be one of those tug-of-war things where you're just waiting for one person to make a mistake. Yeah. Bagh Chal, very, very good game. You guys should check it out. We really like traditional games from different countries.
Tradition!
Not only that, but like space-wise, how cool is this?
Travel size.
Yeah, great.
Let it be noted, all our games are truly travel sized, okay? Speaking of travel size, here's another button shy, and this is Horreos, which I looked up the correct pronunciation of this. We are doing a playthrough of this very, very, very soon. This is a 2-player only tableau building game with simultaneous action selection. Very fun. It's one of our favorite 2-player only games, actually, I think.
That's true. Really very high on the list of two.
And we have a lot of tableau building games, but I just find this one, I like the simultaneous action selection. It's very kind of, in your face.
The other thing about this game, it is like it's really simple. Like there isn't a lot. What's funny is how much you get out of the game. First of all,
18 cards.
There's 18 cards, but both sides can be in play, so that makes a huge amount of variability.
Yeah, well, so you have, each of you has 2 action cards, and then there's a Master Builder card, and there's a certain order you're supposed to resolve your actions in. So then I think that means there's really only 13 cards you can use to build your granary with. That's your tableau. And those are all double-sided, though. So,
right.
But, I mean, it's not really about the variability so much as it is about the way in which you play out your actions. And, you know, you're both trying to kind of steal from each other and sabotage each other. And make sure you cover up all your rats. You better have enough owls on your granary, you know?
I mean, it's -2 if you get a rat.
Very fun game. We're going to be covering it soon.
That was mine. And now, one of our old-timey favorite games.
My arm's starting to hurt.
Mine too.
Okay, we gotta
Feel
go.
the burn.
We gotta go. Less gabbing, more to the point.
Ramen Fury.
Another set collection game.
And this is one of the
Food themed.
Like when you first started really expanding your game.
This was one of the first I got, because I got this at the same time as I got Karmaka. Karmaka, how do you pronounce it?
Karmaka.
The Karmaka.
The
Anyway, Ramen Fury.
This was, first of all, it still has the price tag on it. $12.99. So, I mean, I definitely think we've already gotten that much value out of playing it.
We played this a ton.
It's still going to go on giving.
It's still fresh.
Yeah, this is a great game to pull out for other people that are just getting into games and are still a little unsure.
Like, why did you just pull a packet of ramen out of your pocket?
They always
it's a game!
They always think it's ramen. It's like, what are we
And then once they see the little spoon tokens, they're like, whoa, that's fun.
Anyway, it's super cute. It's fun. It is basically, you're getting points, so it's a point game.
Right.
And there's a little bit of sabotage involved in this game as well, which is fun. I don't usually like take-thatty games, but in this game,
the take-that is limited. You only have 2
Yeah.
chances in the whole game to steal things from people, and you can use it on yourself, that action with the spoons.
Right.
So, you know, it doesn't have to be take-thatty, but the take-thatty feels especially spicy.
Wait, they actually say, it's lively, take that fun that will have you calling for takeout. So, yeah, I would say get this game and order takeout.
Yeah, we should play it at the new ramen place that just opened around the corner from us. So good. Okay, we did it. The thing, again, just calling you about.
Yes.
Where we speak in unison, like we're like creepy twins. So next up is one of Rich's favorites. We just dusted this off recently, and we both remembered how much we like this game. This is Strawberry Sunset, designed and distributed by Stellar Factory. I think they're a studio. They make puzzles mostly, but they have this and a few other games. They have a website too that they sell through. But this is a game where you're building out your strawberry patch, and you're starting. It's very interesting because you have 3 different decks you're drawing from. This is another kind of tableau cards playing game. Is the best way to describe it, where you're covering corners up every time you place a new card to your tableau. You start at dawn, and then you have a noon deck, and then you have a sunset deck. The dawn deck has all the roots for the strawberries. The noon has all the flowers, so your plants are starting to flower. And then the sunset deck has all the actual strawberries when the plant is fruiting. So you're trying to connect the roots so that they connect to the flowers, so that they connect to the strawberries in order so you can score these fully fruited plants. It's very delightful, and one of the things I like about the drafting in this is that you can draft from the deck or from the discard pile.
Yeah, so, I like that, because a lot of games...
Because you're moving through the different parts of the day, but even once you've gotten to the next part of the day, you can still kind of go back in time and get
Game designers, yes,
cards.
Take note of this, because I agree with Andy. That is what makes it... And I can think of a game that
makes it more strategic.
Not to be mentioning other games, but I can think of a game that we both like where you're not allowed to do that, and it's really frustrating. Morels. And we both love this game, but
I do love Morels, though.
It is, but it's just so frustrating when and then you see it go away, never for
the decay. Once it enters the decay, it's gone forever, pretty much. Yeah. So you snooze, you lose. Which this game, it's not really the case. Very pastoral, very relaxed kind of games. Really good couples game.
I like It's simple, but the art is actually very effective.
It's a beautiful table
yeah,
presence.
It is. Very, very nice. It's a good game. Another great game to just pull out.
Okay, speaking of food themes.
No.
It's your turn. Oh, well, it's still a food theme, technically.
Food Chain Island.
Animals and food. Animals as food.
Scott
Alms. Another
Solo
Button
game.
Shy. This is one of my favorite solo games from Button Shy. Actually, this is the one where you have the different animals are eating the other animals. So you have like this grid of cards.
Ah! Oh, you're not.
That's your one freebie.
Oh my god!
I just didn't want you to lose because you never win at these challenge videos. You got to be careful there.
I know.
You're trying to take things out of there while you're holding this.
I am not a huge solo game fan of playing solo. I like playing games with this guy, and we play with a lot of other people too. But I've got to say, my favorite is still just playing games with Andy.
Well, this is a really fun one. You can play it cooperatively, technically.
I wonder if there's a way you can fake.
You basically have a grid of the animal cards, and each card moves in a particular way. Each card has a number for the different animals, and the bigger numbers can eat the smaller numbered animals. And you're trying to get them all to stack on top of each other until there's 3 or less left for the whole island. So it's very harder to do than it sounds, and it's one of those games that once you've beaten it once, you kind of want to keep on upping the ante. So I think there are some like alternate shapes you can put the grid in, like so that it's not just a square, but you can put in like little L and Q shapes and things.
Look, you gotta do a cutaway. I like the gator eating the.
Oh my god, the art in this is the cutest. So I love the gator. He's like, oh, so good.
Now you may grab this from Mom.
Speaking of solo games, it's Grove. I told you we like these food and animal themes.
This one is frustrating, though. It's a great game, but
I actually got you to play it solo.
Yeah, it's
you
true.
liked it, I thought.
No, I do. I like that.
It's
a solo game. I would definitely play Grove. I have played Grove.
Well, I just talked a heck of a lot about this last Solitary Sunday video, so I'm not going to say any more about it either.
The only thing to add is we used to play it as Orchard, and it's just there's a squirrel and a wheelbarrow added, and they do different things.
It's less punishing, I felt. That's kind of what I said in the last video about it. I feel it's more... It makes it an even better have a cup of tea, lazy Sunday kind of game for me. But like I was saying in the other Solitary Sunday video, I haven't found myself pulling this one out as much as I did with Orchard, or playing it quite as compulsively.
I wonder
why. I don't know either. I think it's because it's more open and more satisfying that once I've played it, I've been like and scored pretty well. I'm like, that was fun. I'm good for a couple weeks. But so I'm coming back to it regularly, just not as frequently.
Well, it's been living over here, so I might take it back and play it more myself.
I stole it.
Yeah. What? What? Oh,
I definitely stole it.
All right. Well, this is, I know, and I've played this with Andy, and it's
Can you tell that we love Button Shy?
We do.
And this is one of your favorite designers, Steve Armini, who also did Animal Kingdom.
I love Animal Kingdom. That's so good. And this was really fun, too. And apparently this is Button Shy's most popular
I would say,
Sprawlopolis.
Yeah.
It's a great game.
It's a city builder.
Yeah, there's different rules for the different kinds of blocks of different kinds of buildings. There's commercial, there's the suburban, and they're color-coded. Residential.
So you're trying to get, basically light colors next to light colors. And you're trying to have as few roads as possible because the roads are negative points.
Yeah.
And then there's different scoring criteria. So each game is totally different because all the cards are double-sided and they have the scoring criteria on the back. So you put aside 3 to be your scoring criteria for that particular game. So each game is kind of...
And this is another cards playing, doesn't it?
Yeah, because you're covering quadrants of the cards over. Pretty similar to Strawberry Sunset, actually.
Yeah, we could totally do a whole thing just on the games that have splaying, which we both
Probably
love
one of our favorite mechanics, actually.
one of my favorites.
Because Meadow technically is a card overlapping game too.
One that you kind of like, no, why did I do that?
I know you have so many regrets by the time you get to the last couple of plays.
At first, that was one of the things I wasn't sure if I liked Meadow at first because of that, but after a while, you just kind of get used. You know, it's just
you learn to accept defeat with grace.
Yes.
Speaking of, let's get on to the next game. Longhorn, a game I struggled to accept losing with grace last time because I thought it was so clever. I like triggering the end of this game way too early. This is hard to hold. This is a two-player only game. Yet another one. A lot of these games that we have here, they're not all two-player only games. I think the only other one that's two-player only really was Bagh Chal and Horreos. All the rest of these you could play multiplayer. This is one of my favorite two-player only games. When we first played it, I thought, oh, this could give Targi a run for its money, because it's sort of like Targi in miniature in a way.
It is kind of like Targi, I can see that.
In a way, I mean, nothing's ever going to topple my beloved Targi. But I thought if you're looking for a really head-to-head competitive two-player experience with a surprising amount of strategy in 15 minutes, you can't go wrong with this one. Bruno really Cathala, you know.
I love the board because he made it as you basically are making a tableau.
It's modular, yeah.
Yeah, modular, thank you. Mm-hmm. And surprisingly makes for a difference because you're kind of trying to herd your opponent.
Cattle.
Well, no. Well, the cattle are in each little module, but the game is basically you're trying to set up your opponent.
Because you score each of the cattle you captured based on how many cattle are left on the board. So if I captured 6 cattle and there's 3 white cattle left on the board, I'd get 18 points for those. If there were no white cattle left on the board at the end of the game, I wouldn't score anything for those white cattle. Is how that would kind of work.
So it's this game, for as simple and easy a game it is, it has so much strategy, and I love games like that are just like deceptively simple, but you really are you're gonna be using strategy, and that's how you're gonna win.
I agree. I agree completely with everything you just said.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Game that I've not played.
Because it's another solo game. You know, I love my solo games. So this is a 18-card deck builder. I did not think it was possible, but Button Shy really hit it out of the park with this one. Who designed this one? That's Ted Heidersdorf, who liked my pick that I posted of this because it took me more than several plays to beat this one. It was yeah, it's really good. Not the most difficult solo game to crack that I played. I mean, well, Spirit Island. Nothing could compare. But I thought this was really fun. It has this nautical theme. You're a captain, you know, sailing the high seas, and you're collecting these different item cards to be able to complete these different challenges, like rescue some survivors, discover an exotic island, defeat a giant squid, you know.
Oh, well, who doesn't
smuggle
like that?
Goods, you know. It's just, the art is really good, and it's just delightful fun. And I thought it was really clever how tight of a package of a deck builder he managed to make. It's very strangely satisfying. Works is a really clever spin on deck building. So if you like deck builders and you want to see something a little bit different, I highly, highly recommend this game.
I think I'm next because that one actually
you picked that up, so yeah. I'm going to pick you. We just played it last night, guys. Jixia Academy. I think that's how you pronounce it, right? Because
that's what we said.
Chinese. It's a Japanese designer, but it's a Chinese theme. You're in medieval China trying to gain favor with different scholars and their theories. And basically it's an I split you choose card game.
For you gamers with the Y, I mean, the scholars are kind of hot.
Okay, so very kind of yaoi-esque art. This is actually a reskinning of a game called Hana Mikoji, which is a very popular game. It is geisha themed. You're attracting the favor of geisha, which kind of cringe.
I don't know.
Kind of cringe for me. So I heard this one would be a good alternative to that. Definitely has very homoerotic vibes in the artwork.
Not to mention a lot of androgyny as well. But anyway, they're kind of cute. These are like very young-looking scholars to me.
He's not used to the anime style artwork with the androgynous look. So yes, he was definitely getting a little excited playing this game. But this is a very good I Split You Choose game. We got through 6 rounds and neither of us had beaten the other.
Yeah, I mean, boy, this one, I don't even know if we keep playing it. Here's the thing, we both tend to mimic the other's strategy. I know when he's doing a particular strategy, and then I just do the same thing.
Which in a tug-of-war game can lead to stalemates. So it says in the rules you can just limit it to 3 rounds and just end at the end of the 3rd round, and whoever has the most favor points basically wins, which in either case would have been you.
Yeah.
Because you still had more favor points in rounds 3 and 6 than I did.
Yeah, in those rounds I did.
So we'll just say we played 2 games of this for purposes of stats. But I think we're definitely going to play it some more, and I'm going to try a different strategy. And maybe be a little more
cagey. You gotta be cagey.
Yeah, I have a worse poker face, you know, and that game's all about the poker face. So.
Alright, next game is 5 Crowns.
Classic. One of our favorite, just straight up card games.
Well, what's great about this game, for one, is that you can play with 7 players.
My arm really hurts, you guys.
Oh yeah, it's burning.
He's got 1 left.
I know. Well,
here. We need to work out more.
It's a rummy-style card game.
With 5 suits.
Well, what makes it fun is just that each round is different because you have a different number of cards.
Right, so you're starting with a smaller hand, right? Because you start with a hand of 3. And then you're trying to make triads.
11 rounds, so you go all the way up to 14. Right?
Yeah, so the different kinds of combos you're making, there's a book and a run. The book is all 3 of the same number, and then the run is just sequential numbers of all of the same suit. They're kind of hard to do once you get to the odd numbers.
Is when somebody goes out,
it forces everyone else to plop down their hand, and they have to take those points, and it's the kind of game where you want to get less points.
Yeah, you don't want points. If somebody else goes out, you want to be able to go out on that.
I think when I played that near perfect game, I had about 100, and then the person, I think Mike had like 400 something.
We did this out at a bar in which a couple of the people were doing karaoke at the time.
Not my ideal gaming space,
but you can do it.
You can do it.
All right, here, I'll tell you what, since I've got only 1 and you've got 2, we'll take another one off.
No,
here.
just take 1. We gotta do it.
Well, that one was 1.
I'm gonna take Cafe, and then it's... Oh, yeah, you should take 1.
Yeah, I'll take 1.
And that way we'll finish.
Exactly.
We'll finish with 1.
Next game is Codex Naturalis.
Oh, excellent little French card game. I love it. It says the most beautiful art and the most beautiful cards.
It does have beautiful
It's another cards playing game. I have picked a lot of cards playing games for this.
I mean, it's good. I don't know why, you know, and we've talked about this sometimes. For whatever reason, some games just are easier, or you have an affinity to play that game. And this is one that I've just not done that well at when we played it.
It's very Meadow-esque because it has a similar thing where you're having to cover up the corners of cards, and you're using the symbols that are visible in your tableau to be able to, like, qualify to be able to build these other juicier point cards. So it has a similar kind of mechanics going on, just more simplified. And you're kind of branching everything out. It kind of evolves in like these really cool shapes for me, like kind of like the branches of a tree. And it's got this whole like monastery illuminated manuscript theme, which is just, you know, it's just a beautiful aesthetic.
I will say for me, I would buy this game just for the art, even if you're not into playing games. Like some people just collect different kind of decks.
Can you just hold it up enough so you know
why?
Like, this is the video they're going to be like, You trying to get me back for a few birds?
I am getting you back. Take that.
That's not a take that game at all. It's very multiplayer solitaire.
This one is. And sometimes, I don't know. Those games...
We like those games generally.
We do. I would say you got to...
Because you don't want me...
No, I don't.
Like, don't you dare come for me right now.
I feel very attacked!
Relax.
But
you can take a card from the... whatever it's called, the marketplace, right? You might block what somebody else wants to do, but that's about it.
I think you're less likely to hate draft in that game because you have a limited hand. You can only hold on to so many cards. You really want to optimize what you're getting so it'll work for your puzzle.
Anyway, if you like cards that have cool art on it, then this you should get anyway, even if you don't like playing.
It's a good filler game, yeah. I guess it's slightly longer than a filler. It's like a 30 to 40.
Okay, now
game.
you take mine.
You all know this one, Cafe. Oh, God's sake. In art, one of...
Oh my god.
Jealous. This is an amazing game. This is one of our favorite games of all time.
Just look at the cover. The cover itself is just so cool.
It's about coffee. We have a lot of food-themed games. I thought it was going to be more animal-themed games, but it was mostly food and flowers. You can eat flowers. Flowers are like food. Some of them. Edible flowers.
And the cattle that you're wrestling in Longhorn, you could have
steak. Eat them. Yeah, you could have steak. Or
Yeah.
hamburgers, you know? Or filet mignon. We just ate. Why are we sounding like we're so
I don't
hungry?
know.
If you've never heard of this game before, well, clearly you've not been watching this channel, but it's about coffee. It's a cards playing game. It's an efficiency kind of puzzle type of game where you're trying to roast coffee and deliver it to these different cafes to fulfill orders. And the thing that really makes this game, though, so tight is there's only 8 rounds. So you're only placing 8 cards into your tableau to be able to produce
Do all
things.
this stuff.
So it's just, this is such a good game. We just got it for somebody who may or may not be watching.
I always
this
give
video.
this. I give this game.
You got this for 2 people because you got one for Clay,
Uh-huh.
so he could, enjoy some solo gaming time.
I wonder. I have to find out if he's been playing.
Ask him if he did. Yeah, it's just the art is very the art is Art Deco kind of style.
Yeah.
The art is Art Deco.
It's another game that I would get just for the art as well.
So the designers of this just released a new Euro game called Dom Perignon, which is about making champagne in France. So we're definitely going to check that one out because this, like I said, is one of our top 10 games of all time.
Great.
If you like multiplayer solitaire, resource management, tight engine building kind of games, I highly, highly recommend this one. And at last, oh my god. I swear I have a bicep.
And this one doesn't, except for the fact that it is called, they're supposedly drinking tea in this, but really tea, other than their names, like one of the dragons is named.
So if you haven't seen our video where we highlighted this for our first tabletop and toast, I did Meadow and you did Autumn Harvest, so we spent 20 minutes talking about this game. So let's just say, cute little tea dragons that fit in a teacup. And it's a deck builder. If you like those 2 things, then this is the game for you. Very cute.
I mean, it has
Oh, there's the little comic where he explains how to play the game. The little old dragon daddy guy. And they're like, and then you build the deck. And they're like, what? Say what? Build what?
This one, honestly, it's got beautiful cards, but it's
just hold
very
it up. You don't
charming.
have to
It's
open
so
up
charming.
all the
Autumn
paper.
Harvest, I think we mentioned it last time. It is just the Tea Dragon Society card game, but this is. It was it's an expansion technically.
It's like a follow-up. You can integrate it with the base game.
But I would definitely go with this one. It could be your base game. You could always get the other one.
Because it has
some
the growth
different
tokens,
dragons.
and the other one doesn't. And also, the base game doesn't have... What's that character you always like to play with?
Oh, Peppermint.
Yeah, Peppermint, I think, is in this one.
Peppermint is my dragon, and if you play with me, you can't have her, okay?
It's true. He'll
No
fight
way.
you with a knife. But yeah, that's a really great one. I think if you like deck builders and you're looking for baby's first deck builder to introduce someone to, we've introduced a ton of people to this game, and they've all really enjoyed it. So I highly recommend that.
We've said some other games, but it's a little more like this is easier. This is a little more challenging.
I'd say this one is good to play with almost anybody.
This is simple.
We've taught it to children pretty easily.
Yeah.
This one, I would say...
Older children.
Yeah, like tweens, I think would be fine for this. And, adults still that aren't really, super hardcore gamers would still be able to enjoy that game as well.
I mean, basically, all of these games that we've chosen are all games that we would both give a thumbs up to. Except for the few that are solo games that I...
If we wouldn't give it a thumbs up, I'm selling it.
She's all about
Like I just did earlier today. I sent one off in the post office. Congrats, we both won. That's all we have for you today. If you like what you see,
like
and subscribe
and hit the
notification bell. We love bells and also subs. And remember to always be gay,
do crime,
don't get caught, and
Get gay men.
mine's going to be harder to balance, but yours is going to be harder stamina-wise to hold up the whole time.
Purposefully picked mine because I thought it looked like it would be
Stable. I decided to go for a leaning tower Pisa thing. You have to hold it on this side.
Oh. Wow.
So you have to hold them on this side, and you have to reach over cross-handed. So you have to hold it with the other hand so they're next to each other.
It does feel kind of heavy.
You have to hold it with one hand. Are you debating some of your choices?
Maybe.
Then you have to hold it in your right hand and reach over with your left.
Oh.
Okay. And then you'll have to do it like that. Yeah, exactly.
Now, who's going to turn it on?
It's already on.
Okay, let's go.
That. And once you pick it, do we have to hold it up while we talk about it? I think we should have to hold it up while we talk about it too.
And what is it? I have to say,
There's a lot of games that could fall under
it just fell out of my brain.
That's never a
No.
good look.
No, why not?
No, I don't like it when people just open up and start rifling for it. Just hold
But
it
I
up.
like right.
And then I'll put pictures of it on the screen or something.
Okay.
Maybe. I can't promise I'll do that. Oh my god, my arm hurts so bad.